What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel Reef RX. Hope you're having a great day. Wanted to give you an update on my tanks. Last time we talked, I was talking about possibly moving into a house. Well, it's nearly official. We're definitely going to be moving, so I need to break down this tank, and I also need to break down my other Waterbox 60.2. So, going to talk to you about what my process is, what's on my mind about moving the tanks. And hopefully some of you out there that are watching have moved and have gone through this, because I really would value your feedback. So let's get right into it. As always, if you enjoy my content, please don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. It really helps bring my videos out to other viewers like yourself. So when I move, I plan to have, definitely want to get a bigger tank. It won't be right away, but hopefully in the next few months. So that big blue tank on the bottom left has really outgrown this tank, but I do want to keep the tank, so I will get a much larger tank. I'm kind of thinking like a 250, 300 gallon, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't want to worry about reinforcing floors, so I'll probably keep that large tank in the basement, but I want to have like a finished room in the basement, like a family room, so I don't want the tank just to be abandoned. So with this tank, you know, I have some really bad bubble algae. If you look over here, you can see the bubble algae in this, the bird's nest, the purple bird's nest, and that's just one spot the algae is in. I also saw Aptasia the other day, so I'm thinking the birdias may have left one or two behind, and you know, that's probably more that I can't see. It's not terrible. I think there's only one that I can see. So what I'm thinking, because of the bubble algae, the possible Aptasia, I think I'm going to break this tank completely down, dry out this rock, and just start brand new. For everything that's in this tank, I want to get like a one of those big black tubs that you get from Harbor Freight. I'll put a picture right here. I want to put everything into that for the cycle process, and I want all this rock to dry out. So any pests that are here, any bubble algae, it all dries out. So that bird's nest I just showed you with all that bubble algae, I'll have to really cut that up and remove it. And you know, one thing I've really learned in reefing and having a small, you know, apartment to have tanks in is like you need to have quarantine tanks. Now that I'll have the space, everything that goes into my tank from this point forward will go into a quarantine tank. The tank's going crazy for you guys. The tank is always hiding all day, so it's nice to see the tank out moving. Definitely needs a bigger tank, and so I'm happy to be able to provide that in the coming weeks. So yeah, gonna have a big temporary holding tank. My other tank, my 60.2 that I'll show you in a minute, I saw flatworms in it. Not the acro-eating flatworms, but the ones that are just a pain in the ass. So I think I'm just gonna break everything down, start all new, let everything dry out, kill anything that's on these rocks. So as far as letting things dry out like the rocks, I mean, look at all the coral that you're looking at right now. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of dipping all the corals that I do have, and really monitoring everything before I put it back into a tank. But the plan is to have a basement sump pump, plumb all the tanks that I have upstairs, and then my big tank that I have downstairs. All right, had to give the tank a piece of nori. Look at the tank go. Let's capture some of that while I continue to talk here. So I want to do a basement sump, like I was just saying. And with the basement sump, the plan is to have automatic water changes or some sort of water change system that can be done. I like not doing water changes, and it's more because I don't have the capability to do it easily currently. So I think with having, you know, some big water storage containers and just turning a couple valves and having a water change done, or having a water change done automatically, it's really going to make life a lot easier for me and keep the tank more stable. Especially with the issue I had a few months ago with the potassium. If I get the water change going regularly, I won't have that issue or other issues. So excited to have that going. Other things I probably will do is maybe get more tanks. Who knows, maybe I'll do a seahorse tank or a predator tank, or just certain types of tanks that I couldn't really do before. Now that I have the space and having everything plumbed into one tank, or one system I should say, I think it'll just make life a little bit easier and not have to go through a cycle and all that. I can have one really good established tank. The downfalls to that is if something bad happens, it happens in all the tanks. right? If there is a catastrophic event, let's say something got overdosed, or the heaters failed and the redundancy I have for the heater fails, you know, it would affect everything. So there's pros and cons to having it. If any of you out there have basement sumps, I want to hear some of your cons. Why do you wish you didn't have it? Because I'm trying to just really get a good idea of all scenarios. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of work to move this. I'm excited though. It's the next step in our future, so super excited to do that. But the house that we're moving to is going to be about 45 minutes away from where we currently are. So I think there'll be a lot of 5-gallon buckets, brute containers involved here to transport things safely. But I think key is getting that holding tank set up at the new house, letting it cycle some live rock. I don't care if that gets pests in the holding tank, because I'm not going to have really the time to dip everything. I'm going to be using this live rock that's already cycled. So I'm fine with the holding tank, like that black container thing from Harbor Freight I was talking about getting pest or whatever. That's not my concern. But it's when I set up the tanks, like this tank will be emptied, new sand, same with my other tank. I probably won't do new sand in the other tank. I might, I don't know. But those are the tanks where I'm going to make sure there's going to be no pests that get into there. So again, if you guys have moved, let me know in the comments if you got any tips, tricks. I'm all for it. So it's going to take a lot of work, as you can tell from this. So, and you can see all the fish going crazy for the nori. Even the anthias like it too. Everything in that tank pretty much eats nori. I put it in the frozen food I make, so they've all gotten used to everything. So let's go. You want to see the sump real quick? I'll show you the sump. All right, here we are in the sump. Nothing has changed in the sump other than me not harvesting any Kato. To be honest with you, with the move and everything and getting ready and paperwork and all that fun stuff, I've been neglecting the tank. Not neglecting, but I haven't been putting as much time into the tank as I normally would or I would like to. And honestly, that's only going to get worse when I do move, because of all of the you know, renovations I need to do to the house. So once everything settles down, I'll have a lot more time to dedicate into the tank. But the tank is pretty self-maintained. I mean, I don't know if you guys just heard that noise from the Red Sea roller mat. Probably not, but it sounds weird. Take a listen. It sounds like the motor's dying. It just started making that noise with the last roll. So hopefully it's not dying, because it's not that old. I just bought it in August. So. But yeah, so hopefully I'll have more time to dedicate to the tank once things start to settle down. And that's when I'll really focus on setting up new tanks and figuring out plumbing for a basement sump and kind of the design layout. I want to really make sure I take my time and plan everything out accordingly. So yeah, not much change in the sump. Let's go take a look at the Waterbox 60.2. All right, so here we are at the 60.2. Like I said, I did find some flatworms in this. They're not the acro-eating flatworms, but the more of the pest flatworms. There are a ton of pods in this tank, which are good. I see them all over the glass. And then these corals at the bottom, the one on the left there, that's the hammer coral that I had that was not doing well at all in my other tank. To be honest, I thought it had died completely. It's doing much, much, much better in this tank. On the bottom right, I have the other hammer coral that was in the other tank that was not doing well either. It's doing a lot better than it was. And then the coral in the middle, that was a torch coral. I'll put a picture of it right here. That coral over the past couple of months has not been doing well, and I was hoping I would be able to do the same that I did with these other two corals and revive it, but unfortunately it looks like it has nearly completely died off. It does have a big hunk of bubble algae on the side. So I have bubble algae in this tank too. So again, this is where I talk about, you know, how important quarantine is going to be for me going forward to prevent all these, you know, 60-day quarantines for everything. Keep an eye out for bubble algae, keep an eye out for flatworms, aptasia. I've learned a lot, and I think anyone, as a general concept in life, you learn a lot from your mistakes. And I can definitely tell you 100 ways that is applied to me in the reefing hobby, and I'm sure all of you out there as well. So one of those is quarantining and the lack of. So I've had aptasia, I've had bubble algae, green hair algae. I've been through some stuff. Nothing too bad, but you just learn ways to overcome those issues, and I think quarantining is key. So do you guys want to see the move? Like, you want to see me like putting the stuff into the buckets and how I set things up? If you want to see it, let me know in the comments, because I'll do it if you guys are interested, but if you're not interested, I will save myself the time of recording and just kind of get it done, because it's going to be a lot of work. But if you want to see it, let me know in the comments. You want to see the move process of the tanks and all that, and I'll do my best to record as much as I can. But if you don't see a video posted for me for a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two, I'm still here. I'm just trying to get things settled, so I'll try to bring you updates as I can. But that'll do it for now. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll chat soon.